Soccer content galore as the men's and women's teams were home Friday, Sunday, and today. Find out how they fared in every match.
After a poor spring and a disappointing season opener against Harvard, rugby looked to bounce back against Penn State in a game that came down to the wire.
And a family reunion at the Quinnipiac Soccer Stadium. Find out the Bobcat star involved in the moment.
We'll bring you all that and more tonight on Sports Paws.
All right, 15. Back at.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside Studio 125 for the latest installment of Sports Paws. My name is Will Fowler. To my right is Jonathan Banks, and we'll be bringing you all the highlights from this past week in Quinnipiac athletics. And Jonathan, well, I went down this week, right?
That would be an understatement. So I was talking to John Surratt and Joe Agricola, the two producers, before the show. They had a problem narrowing this down to 30 minutes.
It was tough.
I think they did a good job. What do you think?
They did fine.
The boys did well.
I'll give them a B+.
A minus.
I'll give them
A minus.
Give them
A minus. Anyway, we'll see where they start. You like where they start? Because we're going to Cambridge. We'll start in Cambridge as the women's soccer team traveled northeast, mostly east, right?
You asked for a direction, I gave it to you. I don't know what to say.
They traveled northeast to take on the Harvard Crimson. The Ivy League school cracked the code of the Quinnipiac defense to the tune of 3-0. Murphy Agnew found the back of the net twice for Harvard, but Sophie Hurst, you know what she did, Will? She put on a show with 3 assists. The Bobcats would next take on similar-sounding Hartford on Sunday.
Yeah, you know, and I'll be honest with you, that had me tripped up a little bit too, but I got figured out after a couple hours. Took me a while. So we will head to Quinnipiac. Women's soccer took on Hartford now, and this game, let's cue the highlights. This was a good one. Hartford ended this on 2-2-1 in non-conference play. Quinnipiac more of the same. We're going to pick this one up in the first half because, thanks, that's usually where soccer games begin. It's the first half. We're going to start it in the 14th minute. Markayla Flaherty, a strong run at the Hartford defense, dumps it off at the edge of the box to Emily Loney, who takes the touch and puts it on goal, but doesn't trouble the Hartford goalie too much. A bit of a half chance for Bobcats. This one stays scoreless. Later in the half, it's Markayla Flaherty again, and works the ball to Emily Grunston at the edge of the box. Puts a good ball in, and the goalie actually comes out, and Emily Loney gets a good look at goal, but how about that for some last-ditch defending? Keeps the Bobcats at bay. Goal line clearance. They couldn't keep the Bobcats at bay for long, however, though that is Grunston again, who puts a good ball into Gretchen Cron on the other end. Cron taps it from close range to put the Bobcats ahead. Second goal in the season, already surpassing the total from a year ago.
Good for her.
Good for her. We're going to hop ahead to the second half. Bobcats up a goal to nil. Looking for more, but fast forward, and it's the Hartford who actually gets the first chance, put the shot on goal, but doesn't threaten Megan Phillips, a freshman goal. We'll hear more about her later. 60th minute now, Kelsey Goldring standing over a set piece, puts in a really good ball, bounces around a little bit, and now it's tapped in by Kylie Lance.
You'll see that one later, too.
We'll see that one later, too. It's not as easy as it looks. Bobcats ahead now, 2-0. You know, Banks, I told you to see Phillips again, right? And here she is. This is Sam Novak, tries to get the ball in behind the Bobcat defense, takes a deflection, but actually falls right to Ishani Sharma, staring Phillips in the eyes. What a save there by Phillips, the freshman. I say it again, that's a freshman, incredible save. Later in the half, it's Martina D. Martinez puts a good ball in. Sharma actually initially misses this. That's a good look, but it bounces around a little bit. And that's Izzy Lacey just got a shot again. Another great save by Phillips, using every inch of her body to deflect that one. Keeps that game, or keeps Hartford scoreless. Outstanding performance from the freshman. Keeps the clean sheet. That one ends 2-0 to Quinnipiac.
Outstanding performance from you two. That was a lot to say in a minute 30.
Yeah, my mouth is dry, but...
A nice out-of-conference win there for Quinnipiac. And now we have goaltender Megan Phillips in studio with our Ryan Flaherty. Ryan?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Quinnipiac women's soccer player Megan Phillips. Megan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you guys are off to quite the hot start, 4-1 this season, the best start since 2012. What do you think has been the key to your success so far?
The key to our success has been working as a team. Obviously, with new players coming in, especially this year, there's been 11 freshmen. So having to adapt to all the new players, it's been a tough go, but we've been working on it and we've been managing. And in practice, we've been really focusing on our team effort and our teamwork, and that's showing in our games, and I think that's the reason why we've been winning and doing so well. And I think that's the major key, is just being a team and working together.
So you talk about practice. You guys have had 3 shutouts so far, only allowing 4 goals on the year. Has there been a big emphasis on defense?
There has been. We've been working on it a lot. Obviously, in the Harvard game, it was just the team. There just seemed to be a disconnect, but we worked on it in the last practice, and obviously it showed in our last game. We really improved and we stepped up our game, and we were able to hold out, and we got the shutout as a team.
So we were talking earlier before the show, you're 2 games away from MAC play. How do you guys think you stack up in the MAC last year? I know obviously you weren't here, but lost in the MAC quarterfinals. How do you think you guys can do this year?
I believe we're going to do pretty good. I have full trust in the team, and I know that every player on the team is wanting to push and go really far, and that's a really big thing. And I think that's really going to play a big role on the field. So I think that we're going to do pretty good. We've seen, we were actually ranked number 2 going into preseason, but we've been improving, and I think that once we get to our MAC, like the MAC season, we're going to do very well.
So we talked about the team. Now let's talk about you. This is your first year here at Quinnipiac. What's been the biggest adjustment to playing college soccer?
The biggest adjustment would be the pace. It's completely different playing in Canada and then coming here. Playing American soccer, there's a bit more aggression, and back home we play a little more in our feet, but here we've really had to adapt to learn to the new pace, and not just with the physicality, but literally like the mental aspect of the game. So you just have to speed up your thought process and your footwork, and everything just comes with it.
Well, we thank you for joining us. That's all we have tonight. Good luck as the season continues. Back to you guys.
All right, great stuff. Thank you, Ryan. I want to reiterate, Banks, this is a freshman starting in goal. Freshman in goal. I've said that about 10 times this year already. 5 starts, 3 clean sheets already. You don't see that very often.
And you want to hear something even better?
Let's hear it.
We're going to see Megan Phillips, and we'll see Ryan Flaherty later in the show.
Oh, I'm so excited
Let's
for
go.
this. You get my hopes up.
But right now we're going to go to men's soccer. So the last time the Quinnipiac men's soccer team played in Hamden, Pablo De Castro scored to break Bobcat hearts in the MAC championship game. It's a new year at the soccer stadium, and the Bobcats welcomed in Sacred Heart to look to start a new winning streak at home. We're going to take that highlight coming up, Sacred Heart and Quinnipiac, coming up on your screen. The last time they played was 2012. Quinnipiac won that game 1-0 in Will. It's Youth Soccer Day in Hamden. Great to see the kids coming out to watch this one.
You bring your kid today, Banks?
I did not actually. Let's take it to the first half. You took that joke from me. I said that to you before the show.
Yeah, I did. I had to flip it on you.
Speaking of taking things, Eamon Whalen took that ball away, and on the counterattack, 10 seconds in, is going to hit the crossbar on Robert Strain's net. You want to see quick action coming up? Boom. Segundo Navarro off a Connor McCoy turnover makes it 1-0 for the Pioneers. Oriok Villa scored before that to make it 1-0. Connor McCoy looking for revenge, and a nice save there. To reiterate, 1-1. Didn't get Oriok Villa's goal in there, so it's 1-1 right now. Thomas Fekula, good use of his feet there to shift it from his right to his left, but fires it over the net. So we're still.
All game.
He was impressive, and he's been impressive so far this season. But now we're going to take it to the second half here. 1-1, as I said earlier. Here's a chance for Quinnipiac. Bouncing around. Simon Hilger is going to try and pick this one out, but CJ Weinstein has other plans. The center back with a nice save there. That was going to the upper corner.
Yeah, might have been headed for the goal.
Spekula almost with a good chance here. And then Brog Austin, looking for his first career goal, scuffs at the shot a little bit. And then later on, Riley Sullivan has plans for a goal, but Jared Mazzola gives the ball a nice high five in the bottom corner. Nice save from him. So we're still knotted at 1. And then Evan Hughes will whip this one in. Robert Strain, oh no, he drops it. Eamon Whalen, he does what he does best, as get goals. Quinnipiac wins this one 2-1, and Whalen leaves it late yet again.
Only non-conference, but you get them any way you can get them, right? At this point in time, by any means necessary.
Goals are goals, are goals, are goals. As many as you get, it doesn't matter.
I mean, he was pretty good last year, wasn't he?
He was pretty darn good. Best player in the conference.
All right, so men's soccer finally gets in the win column with 4 games until MAC play starts. We're going to go back to Ryan Flaherty and Jonathan Banks, who has more on Eric DaCosta's squad.
The Quinnipiac men's soccer team won their home opener today 2-1 off the foot of Eamon Whalen in dramatic fashion in the 80th minute. A little bit of trouble scoring today, Jonathan. Losing their key senior, Rashawn Dolly. How does this team find some offense?
I'm really glad you brought that up. Eamon Whalen, unanimous preseason player of the year in the MAC, obviously one of the best strikers in the entire country. But like you said when we talked to him after the game, there's more pressure on himself to perform, and that's a blessing in disguise, I think, because Whalen will rise up to the challenge. But with Rashawn Daly, before this was all happening, I said they need a committee approach. You can't replace someone who's scored in Major League Soccer. He's played 8 games for FC Cincinnati, so you need a good player to replace him. But they don't have a player like Rashawn Daly, so committee by approach. Tomas Fekula, 2 assists against UMass Lowell. Really good with the ball at his feet, good power, good technique. Almost got a goal today in the first half, so he's one. Jason Budai didn't see the field today. He can stretch a defense with pace, power. He's really good at making things happen with the ball at his feet against UMass Lowell. He almost made something happen in that overtime period. So you got them two. You've got Brog Austin, who's really good, creative, deceptive, nice flair on the ball, can make something happen, cut in from the left today, did a lot of things. So those are a lot of names. There are more names that I haven't mentioned, but Rashawn Daly, a committee approach is needed. Eamon Whalen does have to score the same amount of goals as he did last year for the team to be just as successful, but I think they'll find a way to do that.
So lots of options offensively. Now let's talk defensively. Early on, Quinnipiac playing 4 defenders, moved and switched their system to 3 defenders late in the game. How effective was that, and do you think we can see more of that moving forward?
I think you will see more of that because Eric DaCosta, this is a perfect time to experiment. That's exactly what he told us, that he's seeing different things, seeing what he likes better. And I think the 4 at the back worked well, and the 3 at the back worked well too. I'm a fan of the 3 at the back. When you have Griffin Scaglia, Connor McCoy, and Henry Wygand as your back 3, all those guys I believe are 6'3" or taller. They're all good with the ball at their feet. They can win challenges in the air. And when you have someone like Jordan Bennett as your right wing back, who can cover a lot of ground, also contribute offensively. You have so much cover defensively. Wygand also showed his versatility by playing as a left back in the first half, but they have so much depth. This is the best depth I've seen in my 3 years here. And this Quinnipiac team I think can win with 4 at the back, with 3 at the back. Doesn't matter.
The Bobcats now 1-1-1, so let's talk what's coming up. Monday, big game against Vermont, another non-conference matchup. What would you want to see, or what do you think Coach DaCosta needs to see from this team to stay in the win column?
I think this team has been really consistent throughout preseason, got their first win on the year today, obviously. But what I want to see is more of a starting 11 that's consistent to what their best 11 is. And by that, I mean, Tejan Duric didn't play as much today. He led the team in minutes, 121 more minutes than Yeppe Hare, who was second on the team last year in minutes. So Tejan Duric, I want him playing at least starting or playing a half and holding midfield so he can get up to the pace by the time Mac play rolls around. And they'll knock the rust off as the season progresses, just like we're knocking our rust off as reporters. They'll find a way to get it done.
That's for sure. So the Bobcats pick up a huge 2-1 win. That's going to wrap things up from a wet and dramatic day here at the Quinnipiac Soccer Stadium. I'm Ryan Flaherty alongside Jonathan Banks. To check out more of our coverage, follow along on our website, q30tv.com.
All right, thanks, guys. Banks, I don't know about you. I think I recognize the guy on the right there. He looked a little familiar.
Really?
Yeah.
I am a triplet.
That might be it. The Bobcats took to the pitch again today when they hosted the Vermont Catamounts of the American East Conference. What they did on Sunday. Rather unceremoniously on its own turf, 1-0. It was a scrappy match throughout, with neither side really getting a leg up on the other, but finally it was Vermont who left it late. Rasmus Tabinski netted the winner for the Catamounts in the 75th minute. With the loss, the Bobcats fell to 1-2 on the season. This next trip is a trip to Albany to take on the great names. We're going to take a quick break, but that was just the beginning. We've still got plenty more coming up.
Izzy Agricola joined us live for a Big East field hockey predictions. You won't want to miss it.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Hey!
Sports Paws, where we bring you everything this past week in Quinnipiac athletics. We're going to head to the rugby field now, where the rugby team looked to shape some poor form against Penn State. Jonathan, what are you expecting from this team? They're a bit of a rut, you have to say.
I'm expecting a close game, no rut, as you'll see they'll come out firing even after that Harvard game.
All right, pick things up 13 minutes in, it's Penn State who grabs the first points. Ayla Blesnak gets across the line.
She picked that up and put it down.
Okay. her first of the season. Things weren't looking great early for Quinnipiac, but the Bobcats bounced back. This is Bianca Ciola nailing her third penalty kick of the game. Maybe the Jets should go sign her. 3 for 3. No tries for QU in the first half of action, but put the team on her back and carried the Bobcats into halftime with a 9-5 lead. So into the second half with Jonas Blesnak again. She breaks away from the pack, and there is nobody there to catch her. Another try for Blesnak. She's a freshman, by the way. I feel like I've said that a couple times in this episode already, referencing different people, but she's a freshman.
I'm just focused on the uniforms. I like them.
I like both, to be honest with you. The whites are clean, but I like the stripes.
Okay.
So Penn State now up 12-9. Bobcats now down 17-9 in the 55th minute. Time running out, and this is Clara Lamar Brown breaking free down the touchline. She finds the in-goal area for the first try of her season, Clara Lamar Brown. And that cuts the Nittany line to lead to just 1. Now Penn State looking to pad the lead, and it does. Take a look at Sophie Pyers turning on the Jets. Nobody's going to flag her down. She's taking it all the way to the house. Nittany Lions don't get this conversion, so the door is cracked open for the Bobcats. It's 22-16 Penn State in the 60th minute. And Clara Lamar Brown's only going to make us wait 2 minutes. Watch this. She goes on to take this kick and brings it all the way back to the in-goal area for the second try of her game, all the way down the sideline. Blows past all 15 Penn State defenders, puts the Bobcats within 1, and wouldn't you figure, Bobcats get the conversion, 23-22. They go on to win this one. So Banks, there's that nail biter you were talking about. They do get out of that rut. Penn State, not a conference opponent, but absolutely a big morale booster.
Yeah, and Clara Lamar Brown, fast.
Fast.
She is so fast. I've seen her play in person. She's fast. But also just one quick thing. Talked about the Jets and kicking. The score was 17-16 at one point. The Jets lost in week 1. What was the score?
We're not going to talk about it.
All right, well, rugby gets the win, and now Sports Paws viewers win as we welcome in resident field hockey expert Izzy Agricola. Izzy, the Big East is crowded with a lot of talent. How do you see the final standings looking?
Thanks, guys. I'm here to break down Quinnipiac Field Hockey's Big East season predictions. So this marks the 4th year since Quinnipiac has joined the Big East Conference. And in the last 3 seasons, Quinnipiac hasn't fared so well. They have not made the tournament, so let's see how they'll do this year. This year, conference play opens up with a visit from the Huskies to Hamden. The Huskies are unstoppable in the Big East. They have won the Big East the past 7 years in a row. They're also ranked 4th in the NCAA, and they are just a huge presence in the Big East. So they have a solid core, and freshmen that come up get immediate exposure. So I'm marking this as a win for the Huskies and a loss for the Bobcats. Next up, the Bobcats will be visiting Georgetown, and I'm marking this as a win for the Bobcats because of the strong defensive core that Georgetown has, but I think QU's depth will give them the win. They have players like Ruiz, Martinez, Perkins, and Halley, so I expect it to be a close game like last year, but I think that in the end, the Bobcats will be able to pull out the win. So on October 4th, the Bobcats will be playing Liberty University. They were the Big East runner-ups last year, and funnily enough, the Liberty Flames joined the Big East at the same time that the Bobcats joined the Big East. But Liberty has made an impact in this conference that we really haven't seen the Bobcats make yet. So Liberty was the runner-up last year. They lost to UConn. So this year they are coming out on fire, pun intended. They are looking for redemption. They want to blow their way through the Big East so that they can come back and verse UConn. So I'm marking this as a loss for the Bobcats because I think the Flames are just too strong. They're too consistent. And like I said, they're really coming out on fire and they want to win. So next up, the Bobcats will be visiting Villanova on October 11th, and I am marking this as a win for the Bobcats. It was one of their closest Big East games last year, and I think at this point in the season, QU will have built up some momentum in order to take on Villanova. So again, just like the Georgetown game, I do think it's going to be a close game between the Bobcats and Villanova, but in the end, I think that they can pull out the win if they keep things locked down in the defensive area. Next up, the Bobcats will be visiting Providence, and I am marking this as a loss simply because Providence has such a strong offensive presence. They outshoot their opponents in almost every single game, and I don't think Quinnipiac has that offensive presence to compete with them. Even if they keep it locked down in the defensive end, I don't think they can come in and score enough goals to beat the Friars. And then for the second to last game, I am marking it as a loss against Old Dominion. I think that Old Dominion is very similar to Providence in the fact that they have a very strong offensive end. There are names like Rebecca Birch and Aaron Huffman who are returners, and they are huge names in the Big East for scoring and points. And Quinnipiac is a newer team this year. They have 9 freshmen coming in who are playing, and they're very good, but I don't think they will be able to beat Old Dominion. And then for the last game, I have the Bobcats winning it. They beat Temple last year. I think they can do it again. So in the end, their Big East record will be 3-4. Not enough to make it into the tournament, but I think they're improving on last year, so it'll be great. Thanks, guys.
Always. One more commercial break, but lots to look forward to coming up.
Yeah, we'll talk volleyball, cross country, and a little bit of brotherly love. Stay tuned.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back inside the studio. We're entering the final home stretch. But before we wrap up, it's time to head to the volleyball court. Will, the team went to our neck of the woods, that's New Jersey, and they took on NJIT in the Knights Fall Classic in Hackensack. Really tough game. Their first opponent would not go down without a fight. The Bobcats roared to a 2-0 lead in games. Pun intended, because I said roared. But the Highlanders clawed back, again, Bobcat reference, to send it to an all-important 5th set. Quinnipiac took the 5th set 15-9 and won the first game of the tournament.
I like that. Nice dirty Jers reference.
Dirty Jers.
Never forget your roots. You know what else I like?
What do you like?
I like the way the volleyball performed against the host Fairleigh Dickinson the very next day. Banks, the NJI team game must have lit some kind of fire under the volleyball team's belly because the team not only swept the Knights on the Knights' own court, but they also did it in pretty convincing fashion, winning 25-21, 25-14, and finally 25-18.
Quinnipiac did not lose a set against Fairleigh Dickinson, and they did not against Morgan State either. Kyle Robinson's squad squeaked out wins of 27-25 and 25-20 in the first 2 sets, but distanced themselves with a 25-12 win in set 3. Doubleheader secured, Knights Fall Classic secured, and the Bobcats have won 3 of their last 4 contests 3-0.
Don't let them get hot, Banks.
Don't let them get hot. You know what else?
Hot.
Top 5 plays?
Let's do it. Top 5 plays. A little soccer action, huh?
Let's do it. It's all soccer for the top 5 plays. We'll take you to play number 5, women's soccer against Hartford. Kelsey Goldring, number 22. You'll need that. It's important with the free kick. Kylie Lance. Boom. Right place, right time.
Yeah.
Told you we'd see it again. Didn't lie. Quinnipiac wins.
I can watch that finish 100 times.
Tell them about 22.
Play number 4, number 22 again. Evan Hughes puts this ball. It's a good set piece, but the save is even better. Look at that. Using every inch of his frame. That's the goalie, Robert Strain, and he sends it over the bar. Bobcats want to win that one, though, 2-1.
Play number 3, men's soccer, Vermont. There's no number 22 in this one. Eamon Whalen penalty kick. Vermont up 1-0, and Nate Silvero stones him. Eamon Whalen, one of the best goal scorers in the entire country, can't get it to go. Bobcats lose 1-0.
Can't hit them all. This is Hartford women's soccer against Quinnipiac. This is Maria DiMartinez puts the ball in again. Kind of bounces around the box. Isali Sharma missed it. Izzy Agricola shoots it, and a great save there by Megan Phillips.
She was back.
She was back.
That was awesome to see. Evan Hughes, Eamon Whalen, Robert Strain. Oh, he dropped it.
Not gonna miss that one.
What a goal, though. Right place, right time for Eamon Whalen. Not really right a goal, but well done from him. Quinnipiac wins that 2-1. Now let's take a look at what we have this weekend.
All right, Bank. That is all we got from last week, but we're going to take a look at our weekend preview here. We got some good games on the slate, don't we?
What do you want to discuss?
Let's start with this men's soccer game, Quinnipiac and UAlbany. I think this is a game that is kind of a tradition at this point as far as non-conference schedule goes. UAlbany is always a welcome host. They came here last year, but you'd think that we go there next year. Not we, Quinnipiac go there next year, but UAlbany is in Quinnipiac's backyard here, and that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Oriak Villa got the winner in that game last year, 2-1. And also field hockey is going to be an interesting one to look at. Quinnipiac Sacred Heart men's soccer, now they play each other in field hockey.
Do you consider Quinnipiac and Sacred Heart a rivalry game?
I don't.
Little in-state rivalry action?
Not really, because they're in different conferences. Sacred Heart used to be in the NEC.
Okay, that's fair.
That was a nice edition of Sports Paws right there. What'd you think?
It was fun.
Hopefully you're still in a great mood next Monday during this, because I know the Jets are on Monday Night Football.
You know what? Maybe if you let me on air again, I'll have an excuse not to watch it because they're going to get killed.
We have a kicker, though. We have a kicker. Did you hear that?
Let's do it then.
Why don't you introduce it?
All right, so Evan Hughes, we were playing men's soccer against Hartford on Friday. It was another non-conference game for most players on the field, but for Evan Hughes, it was a little bit different. I think they're going to recognize this face, too. Let's roll the kicker.
Turns it over. Wygant, good recovery. Hughes will whip this one in. Adds straight in. Whalen goes up and he drops it. And even Whalen has possibly won it for Quinnipiac.
You know it's a special night when a game-winning assist isn't your main storyline.
I mean, it was just much different. It was a great experience.
Friday's non-conference matchup for Quinnipiac midfielder Evan Hughes was not just a regular match. It was a family reunion.
It's very different. I've never had to experience that in my life, so it was just very interesting.
His two brothers are freshmen on Sacred Heart. They've seen Evan as a role model throughout their lives, but now they lean on each other.
You know, they've always been on my team or people they've looked up to me.
It's not often when you play against your brothers in an NCAA Division I college soccer game like Evan Hughes at Quinnipiac did against his two brothers, Brennan and Nathan, of Sacred Heart. Although it's kind of weird to see yourself playing against your brothers, Evan Hughes was really proud of how far his brothers have come.
I see a lot of improvement from what they've come from high school and starts like that. I mean, they've been much stronger on the ball, stuff like that.
Their paths brought them to opposite lineups today, but older brother Evan couldn't be more proud of their journey.
I told them I'm proud of them. I mean, they've worked hard to get here.
Number 22, Evan Hughes.
Hughes and his brothers from Quinnipiac will host Vermont on Monday. Well, that was just a really cool story to cover. I know we talked about this earlier for a half second of the show. I'm a triplet. My brothers and I, the best we did was play varsity soccer together. Now, I'm behind the desk. They're both in school of business doing stuff at their university, so we're not on the soccer field doing things like that.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure if you were playing collegiate soccer, your twin brothers were playing against you, you'd be just as proud of them as Hughes is of his guys.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be that proud of them because I'd be wanting to beat them 10-0.
No, well, I'm sure after you win 10-0, I don't know if they'll feel the same way. But there's definitely some mutual respect you can see. That's one of those stories that, sports are bigger than just a game, I think, a lot of times. And a lot of times people don't realize that. That's why we're in this field, exactly. And that just hammers that home, I think. Definitely a heartwarming tale for Evan Hughes, number 22, one of two 22s on the top 5.
Kylie Lane? No, Kelsey Goldring.
Kelsey Goldring.
Why don't you close out the show, though? All
right, let's do it. Hopefully you at home enjoyed this installment of Sports Paws. I know we did. We had a lot of fun with this. We'll be back this time next week to show you all the fresh highlights hot off the press. But until then, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports. Check out our website at www.q30sports.com. For everybody here at Q30, from the producers on the board, from the producers to those on the board, that's Jonathan Banks. I'm Will Fowler. Have a great night.